T-Rex by T-Rex. The self-titled T-Rex album followed 4 albums that Mark Bolan made as Tyrannosaurus Rex, 3 with Steve Took and 1 with Mickey Finn. Tyrannosaurus Rex started out purely acoustic but slowly got more electric, and I loved this album. Ride a White Swan, Hot Love and Get It On were all big hits, and I loved them all. They all had 2 or 3 tracks on the B-side, and I loved them as well. Even the one that was a cover, but I only knew the T-Rex version of Summertime Blues. When T-Rex were having their early hits, the only album available was this T-Rex album. The thing is, it was not really that much like Hot Love and Get It On, but it was also not that much like the music of Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was available at the time on a budget compilation that was actually quite good in its own right. I loved the cover of the T-Rex album, a brown square with a half fold over that was a picture that had an unreal quality. They had used some kind of slightly sepia filter that made it match the brown perfectly. I loved that it had backing vocalists who were in Frank Zappa's Mothers of Invention. I was not that familiar with Zappa at the time, but this was probably one of the things that made me interested in him. There was something raw about the T-Rex album. It was much more rock and roll than the acoustic guitar strumming of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Mark Bolan had a totally distinctive voice and an individual lead guitar sound. It is like he had his own personal scale and amp settings. About the same time he played on the Bowie single, and it is instantly recognisable as him. The production is very sparse, yet the songs sound full. There are songs that work well with just a single acoustic guitar and an obviously double-tracked vocal. There is a song with chimes and wah-wah guitar, but the sound that probably most represents Tony Visconti's T-Rex productions is that of a distorted electric guitar and string section, particularly when lines played at the bottom of the strings of the guitar are echoed or doubled by cellos. The album has the song Is It Love, which is so minimal it must have influenced the Ramones. It only has the lines Is It Love and You've Got to Rock With Love. The Ramones mentioned T-Rex in their song End of the Century. Then there is Seagull Woman, another simple lyric with a gorgeous melody and sweet backing vocals from Howard Kaylan and Mark Volman, the mothers who had been Turtles. I love everything about Seagull Woman. There was a very early Tyrannosaurus Rex single called 1 Inch Rock, which was very short. So when he did it on this album, Bolan added a long passage of scat singing. Bolan's scat singing is a mixture of doo-wop and more exotic vocal sounds that seem to be influenced by his semi-Jewish heritage and upbringing. Bolan wrote a lot more 12-bar blues than you would imagine, but rarely do they sound like a deficit of ideas. The lyrics are all bopping elf fairies and goblins, pagan festivals, wind in the willows and Lord of the Rings folklore. This is similar to all his previous work before everything became about cars, spaceships and sex metaphors. The big track on the album is a re-recording of the song that was released as a single when he was a teenager. The Wizard starts with the bang of a gong and has the trademark acoustic guitar strummed to matching congas, all joined by chromatic guitar as it builds to a crescendo of vocal oohs, squeals and screams, with all kinds of warblings and some serious strings. The later CD versions of the album contain Ride a White Swan and Summertime Blues as bonus tracks. There is also chanting on this album. We are the seekers of space, we've seen our master's face. It's young and old and silvery gold. We are the seekers of space. Om. T-Rex by T-Rex.